So here's the Bitcoin daily chart. I just want to break down the past couple, honestly, weeks of worth of price action and what just happened, and what the hell just happened this week to Bitcoin. And we've kind of prevented what happened. So, what Bitcoin formed was a head and shoulders pattern. It's what I've been talking about. What happens is you get a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. What happens you get a high, you get a higher high, and then what happens here is you get a lower high than this previous high right here. Talking about this all the time. You have to watch for that, especially on your daily time frames. It's so important because on your bigger time frames, your dailies, your 3-day, your weeklies, these moves may be slower to play out. But however, when they play out to like major drops, as you can see right here. So, um, what? How do you play it? Oh, this here is honestly the true neckline of that head and shoulders. It's this trend line right here. Because you have the start of the left shoulder here, comes up. Now, it's nothing. Nothing is perfect. You really want to see this left shoulder to come all the way back and touch here. It didn't. It came up. However, your neck and your start of your right shoulder came down here, and we got to finish right here. And you got a candle here. This right here, this candle here is like a doji candle. It means that we sold it. We sold it. We bought it. We didn't know what to do. We had a lot of indecision going on here. And then we seemed to just basically fall off a cliff is what happened. Right here is about your 45K level, the start of the left shoulder. So right now we have two possible resistance levels for us. Why is this important? Well, now that we're sitting here hovering below the 200 SMA, not necessarily means that we're truly in a bear market, but the price action is definitely bearish now that we're hovering below the 200 SMA. Typically, we always like to trade and see our price action above the 200 SMA for many reasons. It's a great time to buy, and that's a great time to enter. I'm a big component of entering around the 200 simple moving average. However, now that we just crossed below it, the question is, are we heading down? Are we going to support? Well, why do I always look for support levels? And I'm always, when everyone's getting euphoric as Bitcoin's price is going up here, and we're like, it's going to the moon. We're going to be buying Ferraris and getting rich, and everyone's emotions getting crazy. Because this can happen, and it always does. The volatility in Bitcoin is insane. And this volatility is where technical analysis always wins. And it's traded off of TA, and I'll show you why. Look where it fell. It fell right here. Where did it line up? Right here, right here, and right here, and right here. You had 4 other points that this lined up to. 4 other touches right on the 30K level. So this isn't shocking. I was calling it, we have a few of my charts, I was calling that 30K as a potential spot. I mean, I still have 20K I was calling it as potential. Why? That's a previous high right here. This is where our resistance level is, or now support level, which was once resistance that we blew out of. I mean, we got a chunk right here, which is potential. So you're talking we could fall to here in let's say 24 to 22, and also 20K. I mean, these are all possible. I know it's tough to think about when Bitcoin is sitting at 64, making new highs at 63K. Oh, we're never going to see 20K again. And then we get a little pullback, and we get the whole buy the dip concept. And I'm not saying not to buy every dip, but however, you bought this dip, and now you're getting killed. What's another thing that could have told you this was not going to play out? And things that I call bullish and bearish divergence. And watch this. And this is why TA matters, guys. This is why you can't be left holding the bag. Watch this. This is your MACD, and this is why you don't need 90 indicators. Which way is your MACD highs going? Like making lower highs, right? Making lower highs as Bitcoin is making higher highs. What did Bitcoin eventually do? It fell off a cliff. What this means is that as the bulls are buying this up, the momentum isn't there. that the shorts are coming in. The sellers are having stronger moves down. Look, coming up, the sellers are coming in. Coming up, the sellers are coming in. The sellers are coming in, and then the sellers just took over. Eventually, the bulls just got exhausted. That's what this is telling you. It is telling you that the sellers are winning. The sellers are winning. Even though the price action says something different, the sellers are eventually going to win, and that's what's going on. When you're making these higher highs, you want to see your indicators making higher highs, and you don't need to have 90 indicators. I mean, people have these charts with like 10, 15 indicators. You really don't need them all. Just simplify this. I mean, this is all you needed, and you would have been out of this trade. You at bare minimum, let's just say you bought somewhere in here because you were afraid you were going to miss $1 million Bitcoin. You would have been out of this trade here. You would have been out of this trade at 50,000, and you would have negated this entire fall here. Now, the question is, what am I doing? Am I buying? Am I selling? Well, let's look at this. Let's look at our MACD. What's going on our MACD? We're at minus 5,000. We have never been there before. Guys, let's go back. Here's 2018 when Bitcoin fell from 19,000 all the way back down to, I believe, like 4 grand. When I went to like minus 1,400. Guys, we're at minus 5,000. We have never been here before. Is it a buy now? I hate to always say buy now. However, it might not be a bad time to at least think opening up a small position. This is why I always preach to have cash on the sidelines. What helps you kind of enter is possibly smaller time frames, using the 4 hour, using the 12 hour or the 6 hour to see if we're putting in any sort of bottom. If you go to the 1 hour, there's a double bottom being placed in. So here's your 1 hour time frame, right? You got a low. And you got a low, and you got a lower low being placed in. But you got some overhead resistance here. But guys, remember, this is a 1 hour time frame, so we might be having some battle between here and 40K for the next little bit. But however, unless I would say, look, here we are. This is a mess. Meaning, we could hover around here for a while. This could be where Bitcoin's going to hover, between 30K and about 40K or so. That could be where we're going to hover for a little bit. Maybe we open a small position, see what Bitcoin does. Should Bitcoin break below 30K? I talk about stop losses, because if Bitcoin breaks below 30K, we're expected to go down to 24 and 20K. You don't want to be anywhere near part of that. Because if Bitcoin loses this level, we're going down. It protects you. You want to protect your losses, because it just takes so much more for that price action to go up for you just at least to break even. You go from 40K down to 20K, you need a $20,000 increase just to get there, just to get back. But if you were to buy at 40K, stop out at 30, rebuy at 20, you just need 20 to go back to 30 and you're even. Understand that concept. Minimize your losses. Do your best to maximize your gains, but it's so important sometimes. Sometimes it's more important to know how to minimize your losses. Keeping capital, this is how you can keep more capital on the sidelines. So, as I said, we're in territory we've never seen. Understand that this volatility is normal. There's a lot of fear in the market. Remember, we always like to buy fear. However, we don't go hand over fist. We're not mortgaging the house to buy Bitcoin right now, because Bitcoin could still fall. There's some calls out there for Bitcoin still to fall to 20K, and there's some extremists saying Bitcoin's going down to 4. We just don't know. But I'm just trading based off of indicators. And look, sometimes better to stay on the sidelines than it is to actually necessarily be in a trade and feel like you're missing out on something. But look, we're almost getting Bitcoin about 50% off than it was basically about a week and a half ago. So you want to start entering some Bitcoin, start entering some of your alts, keep a close eye. Understand that Bitcoin drops, your alts are going to fall. Understand that if Bitcoin dominance begins to rise, which it is, it's hitting a resistance zone. Should this continue up, you're going to watch your alts bleed. If this actually begins to fall, your alts will continue to rise. This is important to understand. We do have a good positive daily MACD cross in our Bitcoin dominance. So could this mean that our alts are going to trend for a little bit? Could this be a good, as Bitcoin rises? We might want to see that. If Bitcoin tends to rise in price, our dominance rises, our alts go down, our alts might fall to some support levels. Look for those support levels, buy up, accumulate on those support levels. This is where we get a chance to rebuy. This is when we want to rebuy. Remember, some of these altcoins have come from nothing, and these guys is already up 1,000%. Understand that. So, all right, good luck, guys.